Are we live? Are we live? Looks like we're becoming live. It looks like we are live. We are live and recording from Arlington, Vermont. This is Happy Valley Hobbies, and these are hobbies that make me happy. And tonight we are doing what I want to call practice dioramas. Basically, these are dioramas that, well, we practice on before we actually start doing something directly onto the actual onto our layouts. The idea is basically to turn around and be able to practice on what you want to do before actually putting on your layout. Something, if you make a mistake, you're not going to go, oh my God, I got to tear everything up and all that, because, well, it's only a small piece of a diorama that you want to practice something on. Or if you want to do something that's not going to be on your actual main layout. Say if you're doing something like want to practice on doing like a fall scene or snow scene, something that you would not normally have on what you're planning on your layout. But if you have something where you can play around and do something, you can practice on. This one I'm practicing on is I wound up building this Hunter Line bridge, but I have actually no room on it on my layout. Wasn't planning on having a river scene or anything like that. So that's what I've done with this. Is it's a 2 foot by 1 foot diorama, which I've already glued road bed, and these are pre-size abutments, which apparently they're exactly the same thing, but they're not. They're exactly the same thing, but they're not mirrored. So you only see one side at a time, so you don't really notice that they're the exact same mold. But that's what I decided to do with this, is to practice on something where I can turn around and practice on handling track skills, also do multiple things. All right. Well, hello, James. I actually am. Last week, I actually had the chat on the farthest monitor, which is also the smallest one I have. That was a dumb idea. So now I got the closest one with on the larger screen, so I can actually see people without having to run back and forth. So thank you for coming along, James. And the basic idea for this diorama is to have it where obviously a stream coming through, but I'm also thinking about having more like a little bit more mountainous, like a small mountain, and just sort of kind of practice on what it is. But we try to make it, sort of kind of organic as possible. Actually, let's go this way. I'm actually thinking about maybe having it like have like one stream like right across here, and then this stream is sort of going into it. And But yeah, it's would have to say I'm still learning this YouTube thing, and still going along it, trying out different things. Uh, and I'm also thinking maybe have like a small little waterfall along here, and have sort of like right over in here, sort of like more of a mountain that's actually uh, like blasted in through, because there's a lot of times that railroads had to basically uh, just trying to do different things and come up with different ideas. Um, your James Layouts is on hold. I'm hoping it's a choice that you made that's on hold, not life in general turning on, going like, no, you're not. You're stopped. Um, I mean, I myself, my layout's only uh, basically 8 foot by a foot and a half, and right now, what's stopping? I honestly want to say what's stopping me is the scenery. So that's why I'm using this as a practice piece to figure out what I want to do with scenery and things like. I mean, right now I'm not using hand laid track, but I want to eventually use hand laid track, so that's why I'm doing this. Uh, it's odd that it says one is watching, which usually means I'm the one that's watching. However, James is also on here, so it should say at least two. Uh, oh well. Uh, Eventually, I guess things will go the way it goes. But this, I want to sort of see, go that way. I want to sort of like have like a some sort of drainage ditch, so it's not completely straight, or at least very much with the similar stuff with trying to have at least a slope down here, and then I'll slowly figure out exactly how I want to do things. And that a lot of time is a challenge, when you're not knowing what specifically what you're aiming for. But it's back on here. And this is a Cork. I'm actually this is Cork roadbed, but I'm actually, instead of splitting in half that people normally do, I'm actually gonna keep this solid and go that direction. As I said, it's this is where you can experiment on things, and if something goes drastically wrong, uh, you can keep on going, or if it comes out real nice and all that, I guess you can use it in other uh, um, 19 by 19 by 9 foot. Uh, we'll get a newer, bigger layout, you hope. Well, the way I look at it is, a lot of people, it's like, I mean, even when I was younger, I had the ideal layout was going to be this massive massive, huge layout. And what I've have the wisdom I've gleaned over the years is bigger is not necessarily better. I mean, I know guys with very large layouts, and a lot of time they, especially the really, really large ones, they spend more time repairing it, trying to get it to work. But I mean, it's like, if that's the way you want to go, that's the way you want to go. I mean, over the years, I kept on getting smaller and smaller and smaller. I belong to a modular club, so it's one of those things of, when we're at a train show, the 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 layout goes from being, can go from being small to very large. Uh, and that's the way I look at it, is that monsters are nice that way. They had their disadvantages. One is that you need the rest of the club in order to run, which in itself can be annoying. Well, yeah, steam mills do take up a lot of space. I completely agree with you on that, James. And for myself, the layout that I am building is, it's more of a base. It's basically a small county town that has some small industries. So I'm also modeling the 1870s, so everything's smaller, lighter, not as large. I mean, the largest locomotive, I think, was the Mastodon, which was a locomotive. It was if I remember correctly, it was it was an 810, and it was it was the largest American locomotive. But yeah, it's very interesting on somehow a lot of things over the years, which I mean, I read some guys, they done the whole entire main 2-footers, all the railroads that they had in 2-foot gauge, which is, of course, now that I made the mark, I can't see said mark. Yeah, I would say, unfortunately, I actually do have good lighting for doing modeling. Unfortunately, that particular lighting does not really agree with the cameras, as it gets really, really fuzzy. You can actually see the lines that are in sync with it. And that's one of the things I've been watching lately is a lot of YouTube videos on track laying and how each people do their own interesting things. We should cut over here. This is going to be under the mountain, so if I scrape or anything like that. One of the interesting things I have come across of there is a modeling group that does the Civil War, and I myself am doing sort of after the Civil War, the Reconstruction era. But even though they are set up to do, I want to say the 18th century locomotives. Okay, it looks like I might have to double up on this. What had happened is that this is actually didn't glue straight, so it's slightly up, which winds up being right exactly where it needs to be on this side, but this side did not. So this side is actually too low. I also know I'm not gonna, I'm not aiming for this to be up to contest level contest level achievements, because it's just more of a practice. I mean, there are some guys that do dioramas and enter them in a contest. I don't know if I want. It depends on how this comes out. Depends if I actually want to put this in a contest or not. I also have another one of these, which is a little bit more advanced, and that is for the Hunter line trestle that I wound up purchasing, and that's sort of a nice one on that one. Let's see. Can't quite see the numbers. 1950s, 1980s. Well, thank you very much, Heath. I didn't see you sneak in there. But yeah, this is a Hunter line Queen Post bridge. It's 95% wood construction. You can see the shiny metal pieces that are designed for the metal cross beams that keep it in tension and all that. In fact, the Hunters are planning on doing another my build, doing the covered bridge version of this, which originally I was thinking about doing. But then I have to realize that, as cute as it is, it winds up hiding the locomotive, where this one is more open frame. You can actually see, the locomotive that's in there. One nice thing is that this right here is going to be under a mountain, so I can scratch this all up all I want. But you can see where I sort of figured out, all right, this is where the small stream is going to go into, and then it's going to go into a much larger stream, possible waterfall, small waterfall right about here, nothing too major. That looks like this is the way we're going to Not going to go too far on this one, mainly because, well, having washing glue dry is not the most exciting thing to do. And also right now I don't have ties to go in here. I might be able to get some older ties I got off plastic ties. And for the glue, wood glue is just regular wood glue. Nothing special. That's my phone. Sorry about that. Apparently, someone decided to call. I don't recognize the number, so I'll let it go to voicemail. And if it doesn't go to voicemail, I would assume that it's either a telemarketer or something else. That's one of the things of that could be a rant of people calling and not leaving a message of what they're calling for. That's sort of if you're not answering onto the next thing, I guess. This is the first time. Usually I don't get phone calls around this time. That's why I'm sort of kind of confused. Oh, Low County Railroad. Yeah, I know. Yeah, it came up with a number it didn't recognize, and also it sounds like they didn't leave a message, because usually there's a thing afterward that if somebody leaves a message and it didn't come up, so I'm assuming it's a telemarketer. Because if it was that important, you would leave a message. But as I was telling everyone earlier, this is a diorama specifically for practicing, because my actual layout, I'm not planning on having any major water scenes. So this is a way to. I wound up buying a bridge kit, putting it together. It's like, gee, where am I going to put this? So onto a diorama, it's going. And it's also something like this. You can also find out, if you have, what tools you would need to complete stuff. Like, I don't really have many weights for things, which I probably should buy weights for. So the track will be a lot flatter. But yeah, the bridge is a queen post bridge from Hunterline, the HO scale one. The pier abutments are from Precise, which from what I understand, it's a company that's been bought and sold over the years, and he was on the guy on it was on New Tracks, and yes, when I said I already got a set, he was sort of kind of wondering where they were, and I told him the address that was on it. He's like, "Oh, that was several manufacturers ago." Yeah, that's one thing with me is that I've never owned a house. I've always rented, and it's one of those things, a dream of owning a house, but never got to that point. Apparently, I have this part of the roadbed wants to curl up, which I think is slightly out of frame. There it is. Yeah, this portion right here wants to curl up. Now, one of the things that I do use is basically I bought a thing of clothespins. So I got a whole bunch of different clothespins, and in some cases I use them as normal, but there are times that I've turned around and flipped them around, so I'm winds up using a little bit longer reach, maybe into a smaller area. And that's one of the things I have a lot of this way. But the thing is, you go to a craft store and all that, and you can actually turn around and get different sizes. These slightly smaller ones, and even really, really smaller ones. But the thing is that these smaller ones are more, I almost want to say more decorative, because they're not the greatest. And then the interesting thing is you can go the opposite direction, and you can go supersized. Again, these I think are more for decoration, because these do not have a really strong spring on them. But I have done even on the larger ones, flip them around so they can be used this way. That's the quick tip of the evening. Yeah, changing scales definitely causes you to start completely. You could be like Heath and turn around and do all the scales. But it all depends on what you're looking for. And when you're first starting out, you also don't know what you don't know. A lot of times, they're saying, "Oh, you just do this and do this," but the thing is that sometimes you might not. I was playing with model trains, very young. It was more of a Christmas time thing at the beginning. But then my father found we started out with Lionel. That was more of a Christmas time thing. And then my father found an HO scale layout, or not layout, but a train set. And I've been in HO scale ever since. Mainly because I think it was because I was, I didn't have to have permission to use the O scale layout. I'll take this. Squeeze it out there. Yeah, the larger clothespins looks impressive, but they also, unfortunately, the springs are designed to be more decorative than anything. So that will keep that down. I don't have any longer clamps that would be able to go from this end over to here. But as I said, this is a diorama. It's not really designed to be functional. I might have it powered and all that so I could, you know, run stuff back and forth. But it's not really going to be a up to the scale of everything has to be perfect. I mean, it's just going to be basically a straight piece of track. And I got that amount done. It is one of those things of also trying to get a hunter line. This is basically the drawings for it. There's a sort of like a parse list of the different nut and bolt washer castings, the rods. Here's a detailed view of how this right here is supposed to be. And that's probably right there, right in here is sort of like the hardest part of trying to get all the different angles working together. What you don't see here is that there is a post in that direction also. And basically, this is the cross section where you have where it shows the rods for that. But the interesting thing is that you got two different clearances. You got 16 and 14. 14 is the narrow gauge. And I put that in air quotes is because it actually, what Rick Hunter did was the 14-inch clearance bridge is actually prototypically correct. That's, this is how a queen post bridge would be built. However, Rick has it classified as a narrow gauge because the model clearances are much larger. That's why they added an extra 16 feet for the clearance for the normal standard gauge, because you usually have sharper turns and stuff like that, so there's more clearance. This, I believe, is an NMRA clearance of 16 feet, whereas prototypical clearance is only 14. So that was interesting to find out. It's actually in the instructions on the whole explanation on it. Not only do you get the actual picture of, or the picture and diagrams of what it is, but you also get a picture of what it's supposed to look like at the end. And I want to say I think I got pretty close. I used different stains. The stains that I used was driftwood, which is the lighter color. The darker color, the bluish color is creosote, and it's a type of brown. I forgot exactly what the brown is. But they're, as I said before, they're doing the cover bridge version of this over at New Tracks, and there's going to be a special deal on that. I forgot exactly what the details are, but if you are interested, look at newtracks.com, or you can go on their New Tracks the New Tracks YouTube channel, and search there, and it's mentioned at least it's mentioned at the one before this one. Yeah, there's another live stream at 8 p.m. tonight. Yeah, it's one of those things of, before the pandemic, there was plenty of room. You can pick your day and all that, but it seems that now things are getting a little bit more crowded. But yeah, my actual layout is actually a combination of the Time Saver and the Inglenook, the 223 version. I'm using the Inglenook as the quote yard, and sort of the town switching is the Time Saver. So I'm sort of like making could set it up as a game, or as I could set it up as a, close to a sort of kind of a running railroad. But I got the track down. I got the feeder wires in. Haven't wired everything in yet. There's a couple other details I have to turn around and fix. But the layout is real. You can actually see it there, or the edge of it at least. If I change cameras, I get a better side view of it. Right now, there's a lot of buildings that are on it that are buildings, tools, sort of one of those work in progress things. But if we change cameras, this one, ta-da! You can turn around and see where stuff is. Of course, one important detail I should probably do, which you can't really see too well, is to take the calendar, change it, and hopefully it stays on February. There we go. So we got it, the NMRA calendar on the backdrop. But yeah, you can't really see the track plan from this particular viewpoint. But I do have, do have some cars on it. Not really set up for running right this second, but maybe that's something I have to turn around and do that for next time. But most of the cars I got are Mantuas. The structures I had, this is a old track structure that was specifically made for new tracks. Unfortunately, the decking was not originally put in there, but I got the decking, but I haven't had, since I got the decking after I got back to work, so I haven't had time to put on a proper decking. People might recognize the Bar Mills tower, water tower. And then in the background, you can see the Atlas, Atlas Wood Warehouse. Let's see. Obviously, the Ultimation Sander is obviously not part of the layout, but it's getting there. All right. Thing is, from this angle, I cannot see the clock too well. I know there's another live stream coming on at 8, and I don't want to run into that. All right, 7:41. So Well, hello, Digger. Did not see you come in. I guess even though I got the live chat on the bigger screen, I'm still missing it. Move to March warmer. Let's see. Yeah, today is Third Rail Thursday. I'm not quite sure who is. I know they're looking for somebody for the first week or the first week because I guess Dan Coe is not able to do it. I threw my hat in my ring, but they never got back to me. So, oh well. JP9 Athearn Genesis. You have 3 on order. Now I'm assuming the JP9s hopefully do not have the uh, same road number. Go via or go home. How you doing? Well, actually, go via probably has the answer you were asking. Who's on Third Rail Thursday? Oh, I make it like that. All right. Hello, Gus Haley. Yeah, and I would have to say right now my setup is more I either can work at the workbench or I can do live streams. I'm not really set up to do a live stream at the workbench. I'm getting there. Turning around and trying to figure out how to do different setups. I mean, I got the cameras. I just don't have I don't have the mouse in arm's reach. They make it like that. That's tonight. All right. I would have to say he does very interesting graffiti, which I'm honestly not a fan of, but I can appreciate his uh, I can appreciate his art form. Uh, I mean, I modeled the 19th century, and the thing is that I have seen graffiti uh, that is that old, but usually they carve. It's usually carved into something. For myself, I've watched the build crew videos, but I'm not on top of them. Uh, but that's you know I'm just not. Well, I probably might turn around and watch uh, the build crew 1.0 because well, I am building a bridge, and I just happened to realize after looking at the video that I wound up putting a marker on my finger. But Yeah, unfortunately, I would have to say watching glue dry is not that exciting. But I am, oh, actually, since I realized something. Yeah, these are the bridge abutments that I got. These are, let's see, JP free. No, wait a second. It's 140. Yeah, 140 single deck bridge abutments. 4-inch timber with rock base. The thing is that these would fit the Hunter Line's narrow gauge bridge. These are a little bit wider, so I'm actually have to go and turn around and I already cut the piece of wood that would have to fit in there to make it a little bit wider, so this looks better on that. But yeah, apparently, let's see, this is Carson City, Nevada. Apparently, that's who owned it maybe a decade ago. That's not their current address or phone numbers or anything. But Pre-Sized Model Specialties is still a live company. It's been bought and sold over the years. They even still make this bridge abutment. I don't think it's at the same prices that this is, because this you look at this paper, it's a little on the old side, so it's been sitting on the shelf for a while. But I mean, it seems that it looks pretty good for the bridge that it's going on to. But it is one of those things of I have plans for stuff. And some of the things that I'm, turning around and checking to see if they work properly or not is these from the Dollar Tree, I think. So it's basically pebbles, which are going to be for like large rocks. And I also wound up going to a pet store and getting aquarium gravel. And that's going to be more, towards I'm going to use this more on the roadbed and all that, because I'm doing, this is sort of like the Vermont area, or at least southern Vermont, or southwestern Vermont, which this is I don't have any pictures, but the thing is that this is the color of the streams. They are, there's a couple of marble quarries around the area and all that, and it's very interesting because they have things that are built out of marble that you wouldn't think would be built out of marble, because marble's expensive. But if it's a local building material, well, it's the local building material. You didn't miss much, Heath. It's one of those things that I'm letting glue dry, so there's not that much excitement with glue drying. But my plan is to cut this off. Let's see, it is now 5:51. My plan is to actually cut this off, so people, if they want to go see what's on Third World Thursdays, they can do so. Yep, Tim is going live soon, so I guess I'll see you later, James. This is a diorama. basically my layout is not I'm not planning to have any water on my layout, or at least this version of it. And my idea, I wound up buying the bridge. I'm like, all right, what am I going to do with it? So I decided to build it's a 1x2 diorama. And the idea is that this is going to have a, sort of like a mountain over here, and the stream that's coming underneath the bridge is joining up with a smaller stream or larger stream. I haven't decided which, but basically going that direction. And then I have to turn around and actually get some ties so I could turn around and actually do some hand laying. My layout right now is mostly flex track or switch or pre-made switches, but want to one of the things I want to do with, which is probably going to be the next iteration of the interesting thing is it is scale. This is a Hunterline queen post bridge, and the instructions actually have it so you could either do the narrow gauge or the standard gauge. But it says in the instructions that the 14-foot clearance, that's actually prototypical standard gauge. What happens is that the 16-foot clearance gauge that's the NMRA clearance. So this actually winds up being a broad gauge bridge if you want to look at it that way. And it's mostly wood construction. The shiny bits are the only pieces of metal that are on it. And they do make different. They do make it in different scales. HOOS and N. There's things that you can do in N that you can't do in the other scales. Like there's a lot of, you can't see it, but there's a lot of nut bolt and washer castings on it. Which is pretty neat and all that, but they do say for N scale, you can just take a fine tip marker and just go geek, 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 geek. Because, well, they don't, having a N scale nut and bolt washer castings is just way too small. But the hunters are planning on doing they've already done the king post, which basically doesn't have, the king post doesn't have the center section. It's just like it looks like a triangle. But they're in the process of getting ready to do, they've also done a trestle. Now their third one that they're planning on doing is the queen post bridge. It's the same size as this, but it's a covered bridge. So it's actually pretty much a lot taller. And I don't think they had the wings on the side here. But they're having a special on that if you want to fill on the build along with that. I did this when they were doing the king post. It's just, but basically I said I wanted something a little bit longer. All right. All right, that sentence did not make any sense. What am I missing? Yeah, this was on New Tracks. They did the king post, and the king post is only basically the ends. The queen it's basically a single thing. It looks like a triangle. It's about that. It's about that size. The queen post is the I want to say evolution of the king post. And probably going to have this towards the viewing aisle because this side doesn't look as straight to me anyway. But yeah, Maureen Hunter, she's the one that usually does the demonstrations. And you know, some of the guys actually tease Rick that, oh, they're there for the, you know, to see his wife, not him. But it's all in good fun. Why, thank you, Digger. How big is the hack post? Jack post. Are you talking about the king's post? I'm sort of confused. But yeah, they are planning on basically doing the cover bridge version of this next. Originally, I was thinking about getting the cover bridge because, well, it's Vermont. But I also found that happened to realize that unfortunately, you know, being a cover bridge, it covers up stuff. So if you want to show anything off, and here's a not sure if we can do this properly, but this is what the a full size car would look at. Now this is a Mantua 30-footer, because you know, it's one of those things of anything in the 19th century is smaller. So that's what it looks like. Let's see if I can tip this over. But that's what it looks like with a car in it on it. Let's see if I can grab an appropriate size locomotive. All right. All right. And this is about the size of a American style locomotive. And it comes off. Of course, it's the entire live stream. Take the drive shaft out, so it's not going to be powered. But there. Yeah, it's about the same length of a locomotive of the time period. Not that massive, not a massively large bridge, but it's also not for massively large locomotives. And you can see the top of the frame is actually sort of like the top of the locomotive, or the top of the cab of the locomotive. It's gonna, personally, you know, with rails on it, it's gonna be a little bit higher, but not much. But more things we wind up doing, the more things are going to look, progressively nicer and nicer. As I said, I gotta see about getting a hold of ties, so I can hand lay the track. I might compromise on the ties. I don't know yet, but that's what it is for this particular show. All right. I want to say thanks everyone for coming. Looks like I accidentally run over too much. So, well, I'm gonna wind up heading over to They Make It Like That. He's doing Third Rail Thursdays. And thanks to everyone for coming. Oh, okay. Now I understand what you're saying, Heath. I do not know about a jack post. I doubt there is one, but oh well. Yes, I'm getting ready to close the thing out. Thank you for coming, Heath. Same thing with everyone else that has stayed on. And let's see. And I will see everyone. That's where it's caught. And I'll see everyone over at They Make It Like That YouTube channel, which apparently is probably live by now because I'm 3 minutes over. So see everyone. The world needs a little bit more love. Find your passion, add some silliness to it, and spread